Hi. Did you miss me? I really missed you. Hi. Welcome back to another live episode of Embracing Brilliance. I am your host, Dr. Kim of Align with Dr. Kim, where we heal from burnout and create balance so we can express our brilliance and our well being. Friend, you were made for more than just setting your bills on auto pay and living for the weekend. It is time to embrace your brilliance. Happy Stress Awareness Stress Management Month. This is the month of April, and we're talking about all things emotions this month. We're going to dive into emotional mastery this month. And did you know that over 70% of adults have had some type of trauma to happen to them in life that sets off their triggers every day? That phrase about I'm about to crash out, yes, a lot of us have crashed out. I have been a member of the crash out crew. I am grateful that my crash outs got smaller and smaller and smaller and less and less and less and less and less. I want to make sure y'all can hear me also. So I'm going to go over here to see if things are playing on Facebook land. Yes. Absolutely amazing. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we had great audio because I want to prevent any other problems in the future here. So the whole crash out phase is not a phase. If you don't know how to manage your emotions, you can crash out at any time because triggers are all around us. Tonight, we're going to focus on decoding those triggers. And rather than crashing out, we are going to lean into the wisdom that comes from understanding your triggers while you are on your journey. So, there's nothing wrong with being triggered. It happens to everyone. I definitely want to read exactly what a trigger is here. But before I do that, we got to do some housekeeping things here. So, if you have been following me on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube is that platform. YouTube is where the show is happening. Go ahead and subscribe, like us on the channel, leave us some comments so that way we can play the algorithm card game or what have you, however you want to describe that. But yeah, I'm going to be asking you some questions. My main question for you on tonight, and I'll ask you again, is what has triggered you lately? And what are you doing about it? What has triggered you lately and what are you doing about it? Let me know in the comments below. Now that you're a subscriber on YouTube, here at Align with Dr. Kim, we definitely have some resources for you down in the description section, or if you're watching from one of our other pages, our pin site store page is where you can get resources. We are adding to that so that way you can have free resources to use as you are either coming out of burnout or you're understanding where you are in the pathway of that of being overwhelmed, if that is you. So now back to what triggers are. So we understand that triggers basically happen in our bodies. And I want to read a full definition. So, emotional triggers are deeply personal experiences, memories, or situations that will spark an intense emotional reaction, often stemming from unresolved wounds and past traumas. You know how you usually try to pick things up and just go, or either you were taught to just I'll stuff my emotions. I don't have to deal with them, or I eat them away, or I cope with them in other types of ways, or I shop them away, or I overwork myself away. I build and bury myself into work. My worth is identified in the things that I do for people, and all of those people pleasing habits start to come up. All of those type of things are signs of trauma. and it resides in your body. Things will come up as you are navigating through life. So we're going to talk about how those triggers come about. We're going to talk about looking at the wisdom in the triggers. Hey, how you doing? I see y'all coming into the room. Go ahead and say hello to me in the comments, because I do like to greet you in the comments as well. If you are a member of the replay crew, meaning that you did not have time to watch this live, but you like, hey, I'm going to listen to this while I'm doing some chores, while I'm driving. Shout out to you for building up your brilliance and going into spaces where you are working on your personal development and also your success journey also. So kudos to you. Shout out to my replay people and my people who come in as well. After we talk about how to gain wisdom from triggers, we're going to talk about how to navigate and heal from those things. And we'll share with you some of those resources again, as well as I mentioned before. Now, triggers can come about, in your emotions. It may feel like anxiety. It may feel like you may be triggered and you will feel happy about something. But usually it's a sign of physical, it's of discomfort there with it, and it lets us know that there's something that needs to be paid attention to. It may be something that was unresolved. It may be some type of belief or something that you're telling yourself that really threatens your self-worth and your value towards yourself as well. So why do things set us off like a switch anyway? They are our messengers. One thing that I have learned on my journey is that emotions are indicators. They are not dictators. That is the mere difference between responding and reacting to a thing. We know that, yes, anytime said thing happens, somebody cuts you off, somebody takes something from you, or even a perceived reaction, we will have a response to those things. A reaction is usually a boisterous and just all outrage. That's the crash out, right? When you react to something and you're all in your emotions about something. And this month we are looking at how to master that, how to manage those things to decrease the amounts of stress that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. As an alignment coach, I will tell you there's no way to avoid stress, but we can manage those stressors and we can manage our response to those things. Those are the things that we have in control. So I'm going to go into a little bit of nerd talk here where we talk about your nervous system. So this is how your mind and your body works. So your body has a system to basically learn and keep you safe. When you are triggered, your body goes into survival mode. So the amygdala, which is the part of your brain that will cause you to go into fight or flight, basically acting on your sympathetic system, that's the run. And some of you all, whether you are in psychology or you've read about these certain things or you've gone to enough therapists to understand it yourself, you know about the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response. That's the new one. That's the newest one that I've seen. We talked about fight and flight. A lot of you all remember that from biology and things like that. Or if you don't, it's okay. We're not going to quiz you here on it tonight. But we want to recognize when our bodies are in these modes so we can basically come out of survival response, meaning that we go run and hide, or that we stand up and fight, or we're cussing everybody out. That's a form of fighting because we feel like something has gone wrong and you need your boundaries. Or we go into fawning, which is shrinking back, people pleasing. Those are all trigger responses, and we want to be able to be empowered and come into a place where we are actually responding from a place of power. We're standing in our own worth and our value, and we're able to assert ourselves and meet our needs and basically control ourselves in those situations. The most gangster move I think anybody can make is staying silent and responding in grace. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of growth. It takes making the choice in the beginning to respond versus react. So some of the ways, and I'll just throw out some examples. So, ways of being triggered. A person experiencing rejection could feel an intense amount of self doubt when facing criticism or even feedback. Loud noises can cause somebody with past trauma to feel overwhelmed or unsafe. It's these small little things. You feel overstimulated. And really, what's going on is your nervous system captured something that happened in your environment, whether it was in your childhood or a while ago, and it went into survival mode to keep you safe. That is the basis of it. That's the simplest definition I have for why am I so triggered? What happens? There is something that happened in your brain, your body was trying to protect you. That was your response. But now, as you are coming into an awareness about it, we do more than just become aware. We actually take action and we empower ourselves to step into the next level of ourselves, which is that healing. Stepping into your brilliance, which is your authentic self, and how you rule things, how you walk in authority, all of those type of things. That's how you break out of those trauma modes. But another one is when you're feeling ignored in a group discussion, it might trigger some deep-seated insecurities about your worthiness. Y'all, this is also one reason why it is said that when we meet people who are loud and just doing hateful, mean things, there's really some part of them that has some type of pain. This is where empathy with the bad people come in. And no, that's not an excuse, and we don't let them overrule or overrun us, because like I said, we're about being assertive here. All of those type of things help us to become aware of the fact that, hey, this is a painful person, so I don't have to react to their pain. I can stand in my power and be the person that is in my power and not let them stress me out. That's another thing about understanding your own triggers. When you start understanding yours and seeing them and managing them, you're going to start seeing triggers of other people, of your children, your spouse, and it's like the healing starts to spread. I know people talk about generational curses and things like that, but there are also generational habits. There are also new habits that you can set in place, blessings that can come into place, all because you became aware of something and decided to take action. I hope this is making sense. This is so good. Hey, Jasmine, thank you so much for coming in. Hey, so that's about understanding your triggers. Next, we're going to talk about the wisdom in the triggers. So, there is gold inside of it. Like I said, if we can trace a trigger back to a certain event, or we basically just recognize that something has happened, there is a root of it. There's a reason why you respond like that. There's a reason why you go into that survival mode or that lockup mode, or that flight mode. You may be avoiding things. You may run to other things to try to cope with stuff. Level one is just acknowledging the fact that you do it and becoming aware of it. Level two is, okay, let me choose to do something different from that. And let me see what's going on so I can really start to change how my body and my mind responds to certain people, places, or things. Those nouns, people, places, and things usually is what triggers you or sets you off about something. And yes, environments can be triggering to you as well. So the triggers are more than just the distress signals. Like I said, they give us lessons and informations about the wound that we have. And the way we lean into what wound we have or how we're wounded is through curiosity, becoming curious about what has happened. Why am I feeling like this? Versus just jumping into reacting or jumping into conclusion. And yes, I know we all can remember instances where we just jumped to conclusion on a thing and it made something just completely explode. This is why we're talking about this. But there are core beliefs on the inside of us that need healing. There are patterns of relationships that keep repeating, like this whole thing about I keep attracting the same person. Yes, this is not just about family relationships, but it's also about romantic relationships as well. There are triggers and wounds that you have, the reason why you keep experiencing what you're currently experiencing. But this is also opportunity for empowerment versus just staying under the entire thing over and over and over again. So this is how we pull out the wisdom. We go back and we look with curiosity on, why is this going on? Where did I first experience something like this? What am I thinking about right now? Being a person that can observe, you step outside of the situation and you're able to observe and see what's going on. And a lot of times that takes talking through it, it takes journaling through it, it takes getting some professional help with it, all of those type of things, because you will start to see patterns in other areas of your life as well, because this is just how your nervous system, your brain and your body has wired things together. And it's like sorting through it. It's like sorting through a ball of yarn or untangling some knots. And we do that in therapy and coaching sessions, or in our journaling sessions, mindfulness. So that's a great way. I want to check in with the comments as well here. Jasmine said, yes. So Jasmine is definitely picking up what we got putting out going on here. So let's talk about, how do you navigate and heal? So we've identified, what a trigger is, how it shows up, what is it, where did it come from, how do we start to move through that? Because we don't want to stay stuck in the emotion, or stuck in the triggers, or stuck in the reactions that we have, those huge emotional reactions that just stress you out. And it's, some people that you, like I said, people, places, or things that you are involved with. And there are different levels to this as well, as you are maturing, as you are coming into understanding yourself and who you are, and knowing what you're here to do with your purpose. All of these type of things will start to come together once you understand the gold that is in those triggers and how you're built up. It also points to, a lot of times, what your strengths are as well. So what is the first thing? Okay, Jasmine said, I love this. Definitely needed reminders. Awesome. I love that you are being reminded of those things, because you already know it and it's already on the inside of you. And that means you're going to a different level as well. You're remembering some things and you're about to level up even more when those lessons come back to you like that. Now, the first thing that we do when we are navigating and we heal, we talked about identifying those triggers. So we notice in our bodies how we feel. Do we feel what around us is making us avoid? And for me, I noticed one of the biggest problems I would have, and I had to talk through this just in my journal. I would look at the fact that I was avoiding making posts, or I was avoiding having conversations. I mean, that was one of my coping strategies. I was like, I avoid a lot of stuff just to help myself. Like, it's calmer to do that. But then in the long run, it's not. It's gonna build a problem somewhere else. Because when you delay having a conversation with somebody, it's gonna bring up other problems. Or if you delay doing other things, like, it's about to be the tax deadline. If you avoid it because you didn't, misplaced some things or did something wrong, it's best to just confront it so you can skip the penalties and the pain. There is the pain of remaining the same, and there is also the pain of change. Your view on changing has to be the one that you reach out for, because staying the same, remaining the same over and over and over again is what? Insanity. Somebody said it. I know you said it. I heard it. Somebody said it. But no, we are not going insane. We are coming out of these cycles of things that repetitively cause us to live and exist in a lesser version of ourselves. So after you've identified it and you look at what's going on in your body, if you're in fight, flight, if you're fawning, if you're freezing, avoiding coping mechanism, the next best thing to do is to have a mindful pause. Now, this pause may be a pause before you start to react. You catch yourself before you start to react the way you used to. You just pause. You let the silence work for you. And those of you all who can't see me right now, I just did a hush over my mouth. You pause. And I've had a lot of great experience. When God first taught me about the pause, mine was in not reacting the way I would be around a person and they would have questions. They would always interrupt me. And I would get so angry and so mad. And I noticed I was talking to them in a way that showed how I was feeling. And like it would literally make me so upset. And it was the Holy Spirit that got me to be quiet. I couldn't talk. I could not talk. And I learned all I could do was hear. Like my mouth could not move. It was like you gotta be quiet. I think at that moment I literally was told, shut up, don't say anything. I had to let my emotions go down so I could actually hear what this person was saying over how I was feeling. There was opportunity there. There were teaching moments there. There were things that I needed to learn. There were things that this other person needed to learn. And I had to learn how to teach this person, hey, this is how you come to me, or be able to respond in a sweet way. I think, and this was in a corporate environment. And we learn so much about ourselves and people in corporate and in these offices. You learn so much interpersonal skills, working with other people well, understanding office politics. I know they tell us how awful it is, but there is a way to navigate it. But understanding the power of the pause will give you a chance to interrupt your thought cycle. It'll give you a chance to respond in calmness. It'll give you a chance to say what you need because you may need to step away for a moment before you actually respond to something. So there's the pause and a breathing moment, taking a cleansing breath. Because if you feel the heat just going up, 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 you definitely need to blow it off and release it. If you feel the tears coming up, whatever emotional, if you feel the words just coming up into your throat and it's like a ball, pausing and breathing will let all of that go down. It's an instant way for you to step into an arena of calm so you can remain calm in the situation. We hear that all the time in emergencies to keep calm and carry on. How do we do that? Pausing and breathing. The next part is naming the emotion of what you're feeling. If you don't have time to do it in the moment, because I understand some people are busy and these things are instant sometimes, but you will have to come back to that. You will replay it. There may have been some moment already that has happened in the past. Remember the last time when you were triggered, name the emotion that you were feeling. And once you sit with it for a while, there may be some other emotions that you're feeling with it as well. This is why I recommend people use the emotional wheel. If you've never heard of that, oh my God, Google the emotional wheel. And there, just like there are primary colors, and we have different other colors that arrive from that, we have primary emotions. And emotions are our indicators, not our dictators. Your emotions are there to indicate, to let you know something. It's like their lights going off. They're communicating with you, and there's something that you need to do or need to respond to a certain thing. There's a decision that you're going to have to make with something, or an action that you're going to have to do. But you name that emotion. If you're feeling anger, if it's sadness, if it's grief, if it's deeper than that, if it's all three of them, it's you can have multiple emotions all at one time. And then getting to exploring the root cause. Like I said, they may not be done in an instance. This is something that you may have to come back and do, or reflect on a moment that is already passed. Look at the root cause. Where did this coming from? Where is this come? I don't like to be interrupted because I am in a state of flow and I feel best, and I feel like I can't get things done if I'm consistently being interrupted. I feel disrespected. I feel like you're not letting me be my authentic self. Those are all the things I had to sit with. That's what I needed. And it all looked like this person's interrupting me and I'm being short with them and nasty to them with my words, when really I needed to pause and respond in a calm way, and also speak what I needed in that situation. After you start exploring the root causes of where things come from, if it's a past wound, next thing you're going to want to do is engage in some type of mindfulness and therapy. That's the journaling. And like I'm kind of giving you two methods of doing this because I know when you instantly trigger, what do you need to do? Number one, you need to pause and breathe. You need to feel what you're feeling in your body. You need to pause and breathe. And then you need to respond in a way that is beneficial in the environment. Sometimes that may be leaving the space. Sometimes they may be saying, hey, can we return to this later? Or it may just be a calm request said in a sweet way. And sometimes a smile on your face will actually help you step into that place of calm. I know they say some people have evil grins and evil smiles because they want to be accepted, but we're not talking about that here, okay? So back to our process of exploring and going through the navigation part. We got identify, you pause and breathe, you name the emotion, you explore the root cause, you engage in mindfulness and therapy, and lastly, you practice self compassion with yourself. None of us have done anything correctly, or we don't get it correct all the time, I should say. Sometimes the things just don't go the way we want them to go, and we have to give ourselves grace for that, meaning that you deal with yourself like you would treat kind like you would a child, like you would your own child or your best friend. You treat yourself with respect and honor and dignity and worth. And sometimes that's a process. Instead of judging yourself, you honor your emotions. This is the self validation that we need. Instead of us running to other people or getting buried in certain things, it's like sometimes we have to interrupt that process as well. Hey, I'm rolling over here to watch, a 30-minute show, and it turned into a 2-hour binge, when really we're trying to numb our emotions that we felt over a disagreement that we had with somebody, when really if we journal it out, if we're able to talk it out, because sometimes you can't talk to people, or you don't have a dedicated therapist, psychotherapist, or coach that you're working with, using a journal, writing it out, whether that's paper. I'm a digital journal fan as well, y'all. So digital journals are awesome as well, but being able to vent out your feelings, say, it's okay for me to feel like this. I really understand it. And then say something kind to yourself about the situation, and really sit with it and ask yourself, what is the best response for this? How can I be supported in this matter? What's the best thing for me to do right now with this? And even if that is confusing, or like another not, like I said, working out the tangles, then that lets you know you need somebody to come in and help you with those things. Somebody, a safe person, I will say, to come in and help you with those things. And that can be a process too of finding that person. But yes, there is help available and there is support available for you in those things as well. This has been a really detailed way of how to lean in. And like I said, we can lean in via past reflection of those times we crashed out and had those emotional triggers. And we can also lean into the moments that we are in that immediate moment. But you definitely have a choice to empower yourself and not remain a victim to crashing out all the time. I know that is a popular thing, people talking about, and sometimes, yeah, It does need to crash out and fall apart, but it doesn't mean you have to go do something insane or do something stupid or continue to do the same thing over and over again, and you're not getting the results you want. This is your opportunity to embrace what you need and to take that next step into your healing. If this has been definitely something that you've enjoyed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are aligned with Dr. Kim on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and YouTube is the place of the show. So it's great. Like, come over here. We're on YouTube. We go live so that way I can answer your questions. And I'm looking in here as well. So yeah, answer it. Let me know in the comments, what's something that triggered you. And if you're not comfortable, you don't have to share like all of it, but let me know what you're going to do about it. Are you going to journal? Are you going to start pausing before you crash out? Like, what are you doing to not crash out? How are you leaning in? Are you crashing out and then leaning in? Like, let me know. I'm curious. So yeah, and that's how we hold each other accountable in community as well. Is I have to challenge you on what we just talked about. I challenge you on what you just listened to so you can apply it in the way that works best for you. And also, if you need some other resources, our Pinsite link is in the description link. That's pinsite.com/x/ align with Dr. Kim. That link is in the, like I said, the description bar. And I have a way to help you heal through your self-care. Because even when you are going through the traumas and just thinking back about it, some things are going to come up in your body and you may not feel safe. You want to have some things to do to take care of yourself. That was one thing I wish one of the therapists, the first therapist that I talked to, I wish someone would have told me that, is that, hey, you're going to feel some discomfort. Well, I wish somebody just would have told me that, period. So I'm telling you, there's some discomfort that's going to come up and you need some self-care practices. If you don't have a structured self-care practice, I show you how to do that to make up your 7-day self-care practice in Burnout to Brilliance. In that Burnout to Brilliance transformation guide. It is totally free. I go over what burnout is, why, it's dealing with high achievers, why it's dealing with women and what to do about it, and some steps in there for you to take in starting your structured self-care journey to help you with those things as well, because you can heal through self-care. This has been awesome. And so are you. Friend, we will see you in the next one. Bye.